Hello everyone and welcome to Speak Georgian. Today we will discuss about changes in Tbilisi in Georgia, politics, protests, my opinion about it. And normally I don't speak about politics, but as I teach the language, I also expect that I can talk about what is happening in the country and to share my opinion as a normal person from that country.
There is a very calm, very peaceful population that wants to have its voice heard, that its will is to go towards Europe and will not, and that has been the case for centuries for Georgia, will not accept that foreign power deters it from its destiny, which is the European community.
You have heard maybe that Georgian government has already passed the law that we call Russian law. Also, it's called foreign agents law. Something that has already happened in Russia, and you know that there's not so much critics about government, about politicians, except that October we had elections and people believed, and I believe that the votes were not true and it was a fraud. So people are expecting and people are requiring new elections, but they're not happening, and we don't believe in this kind of results. There was a lot of protests started by young people, and also now there are a lot of other people who are involved in this protest. We want to be the part of civil society, but our government doesn't listen to what we need. They prefer to stay closer to Russia, but people do not want to stay there. Still, everything is very controversial because you will see that the police fights against people and will fight against police. So you cannot say that everyone wants the same thing. Unfortunately, among us, there are some people that prefer to have few cash more instead of having the freedom, who cannot just go against their government, people who have governmental jobs and they cannot leave it. They cannot say what they think. For example, a lot of teachers have to support the government, and I could be that teacher, but I'm happy I'm not. And they have to support the government. Sometimes they have to skip the classes, they have to attend the protests and pretend like they're supporting the government because they just get the salary, which is paid by all the other people, and that salary is not even so good. So this is how the government makes people silent. Police is violent against people. There are a lot of young people and old people and journalists and activists who are harmed. You can see a lot happening in the videos. People are fighting with fireworks, whatever ideas they can come up with. This protest doesn't know men or women. You can see how everyone is fighting for the freedom, and this shows what people really need, because if you look at our government, they don't really represent what we are. A little reminder that our country is very little. We were always surrounded by a lot of big countries. Russia is one of them. We escaped from Russian Empire. We escaped from Soviet Union. Still, we're never alone, never by ourselves. There was a war in 2008, the last one that happened, and there is always the occupation that is happening even now. So we are just trying to fight for our freedom, but this freedom never comes, and I hope one day it will come. Just we are very tired of fighting every day instead of trying to do something that can improve our everyday life. But maybe this is what we have to do. After being irresponsible for 2 centuries, we have to learn how to be independent, how to fight for freedom, how to be responsible. So maybe that's our debt that we have to pay. And I am very nervous about what is happening in my country and for people who are causing all this. But at the same time, this is the big moment of unity, seeing your people fighting for the same thing, wanting the same thing, and seeing so many young people just not letting anyone take their country away.
It's all a misunderstanding. He insists the EU is still the end goal.
Our main foreign policy priority is European integration, but we will pursue this goal with dignity, fairness, and without blackmail.
But there's no misunderstanding footage like this. Injured protester Zviad Maisashvili gets kicked in the face by a police officer. Zviad doesn't remember the kick because it knocked him out. But through his bandages, he has watched the video.
Not true at all. I just couldn't believe the policeman who is doing it. I just couldn't believe that he's the human. I don't know how the humans can do such things.